You have dollars, you have cents, you have rubles, you have euros, but of course, one of the huge stories in currency in 2017 was the rise of the cryptocurrency Bitcoin. Now, before we get into what the future of Bitcoin is going to be in 2018, we should probably just explain what the hell it is. We have Claire Riley from the technology website CNET and technology commentator Peter Marks. All right, for people watching this right now that's just going, Bitcoin, what is that? Can you explain what it actually is?
It's a currency which has the transactions guaranteed cryptographically. So there is a thing called the blockchain, which is a shared database of all of the little transactions. And using cryptography, we know that people haven't spent the same coin twice or transferred it twice. What's interesting about it and these cryptocurrencies is that they are fixed. So unlike American dollars or Australian dollars, where the government just makes more of them, which means they are inflationary, Bitcoin, there's a fixed number. I think it's 23 million, something like that. And we're getting very close to that number now. So it gets more difficult to mine more of them.
Essentially, yeah, you mine them by running processes on your computer, and the computers around the world that run these processes and kind of all share the same pocketbook, so to speak, they are now using more power than whole countries.
Yeah, and there's one of the things I do want to talk about with the future and the rise of Bitcoin is the sheer amount of energy involved in generating Bitcoin, because essentially it is a currency that is mined by your computer solving mathematical equations.
And the reason why it has this maximum number of coins is it gets exponentially more difficult to mine coins and to validate transactions as you get close to that number. And that's what's happening now. So the fees, there used to be tiny fees to do a transaction. I think it was cents or something. And now I believe it's $20 or something.
So it's kind of more like diamonds, real diamonds, rather than money.
This is going to be like 15 minutes of us working out what's the best analogy for Bitcoin.
But it's very confusing. And we write about Bitcoin all the time and cryptocurrencies, and explaining it in a really basic way to the average person is difficult because it's confusing and it's based on cryptography, and blockchain technology is not just used for cryptocurrencies, it's a way of guaranteeing stuff in other fields.
I think it's a fantastic technology. And, you know, there have been other ones that have failed, I guess.
I don't like it because I didn't buy any in the early stage, and now I'm poor.
I regret I only bought one.
Why is it something that people are excited about? If it is so complicated, if it is such a difficult thing to wrap people's heads around, what is its value?
It's a really good way of doing transactions, particularly on the internet. So I have my wallet, which I use Bread, and I have my Bitcoin in there. When I want to buy something from, say, Overstock.com, I say I want to buy this camera, and it puts up a QR code. I hold up my phone, and it goes, beep, boop, paid.
Sorry, what is Bread?
Oh, it's one of the wallets. There's different wallets. So it actually keeps...
A digital wallet.
It's a digital wallet for my Bitcoin.
You don't just have Bread in your pocket.
In there. No. It used to be faster. These days it's slowed down. It used to be that you would just go bonk, and the website would just say paid, and that was it. It was like amazing, and that transaction was globally validated and everywhere. Now it has slowed down a little bit, but on the other hand, I'm buying things with much more money than I paid for the original Bitcoin. So that's good. Unlike the Winklevoss brothers,
Winklevi,
that the plural, who are now
whether
Bitcoin,
they like it or not, it is.
They're Bitcoin billionaires. But look, the problem with the whole thing at the moment is it's so volatile. It's done things like drop 20% in minutes, and and by the same token go up again. So it's actually not very useful for running transactions.
Hold on. A minute ago you said that was why people did like it.
I know, but
on the internet.
It works really well. But the problem is, I think we're experiencing this bubble at the moment. And what's the games platform that was taking it? Steam.
Steam, I should say, is it's an online marketplace where you can buy and sell games, indie games, biggish games.
And it's cross-platform, so it runs on Xboxes and Macs and Windows.
It's like a market. It's like, imagine the iTunes App Store, but for games.
Yeah. So you've got this currency, which would be perfect for that, but because it's going up and down really crazy, it means they've had to say, well, two things. I think the fees have gone up to crazy amounts, like relative to the cost of a game, and secondly, that just the moment-by-moment changes in value makes it really difficult. So I hope that it will settle down.
What is the future of a cryptocurrency that has been banned in China? Because that is something that happened this year. Like, the future of the global economy is largely built on what is and is not accepted in China.
Well, and the Chinese government is obviously trying to stop people exiting all their currency out in different ways because it's difficult to track.
Yeah.
However, Japan has announced that they're accepting it as a currency. So, you know.
It's not just Bitcoin as well. Remember, there's Ethereum, which is probably the next largest. So if you look at a pie, maybe Bitcoin is half of the cryptocurrency pie. Ethereum is a third, then you've got a number of other ones, and then just the small tail end. The thing that I really think is interesting in terms of Bitcoin, and that's the blockchain technology that underpins it, because whether you care or not, or you trade in Bitcoin, leave that aside, there's whole industries that are now talking about blockchain. So I listened to a really interesting discussion about food fraud and wineries being able to say, we guarantee our grape from the farm to the bottle, to the Penfolds bottle being shipped to China, and there's no fake Penfolds that's going to be sold. They're able to guarantee supply chain and authenticity through blockchain technology. So I see, don't ask me for the finer details.
Because you saw my face going, sorry, how?
But it's the authentication that's built into the blockchain. So the new block that you mine, the history of all the blocks that have come before it have the kind of data about transactions stored in them.
I feel like I should have done this earlier in this conversation, but what is the underlying principle behind blockchain technology?
Well, each transaction added to the blockchain is cryptographically signed. So it's signed using strong cryptography, and those blocks are distributed around the world. So we know that we all have the same version of that list of transactions. So yes, it can be used for currency, but it can also be used for things like quality assurance, as you're saying, supply chain.
Logistic management.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. There is all of this in the podcast of Download This Show. Yes, it is a podcast. That's why we called it Download This Show. It's available right now on any good podcasting app and, of course, the ABC Listen app. And we will see you there. See ya.